What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. So this morning we have to have a conversation about content creator Trap Lord Ross. Now, some of y'all sitting there wondering who the hell is Trap Lord Ross? A lot of y'all are aware of who he is because he's a huge content creator. What does he do? He does documentaries, like video essays and documentaries on drill culture, right? Street culture in black communities across America, right? Some are in like the UK as well, because Trap Lord Ross is a Harry Potter looking dude from the UK. But he rose to prominence in covering drill rappers like King Von, Lil Durk, all of the Chicago street wars. G Herbo, now, he's covered a lot of these individuals. He's covered, individuals like Yo Gotti and street wars in Memphis and street wars in Jacksonville, Florida. He's covered all of this stuff, and he covers it extensively, right? And originally, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When people were giving Trap Lord Ross pushback, I said, well, I never really watched his content like that, but I'm like, from what I saw, he was just documenting. He was documenting what was put out there by the drill rappers. He was documenting the stuff that happened, that took place on the internet, etc. Right? So I was like, I can't really be too mad at it because, the drill rappers, they giving him not ammunition, they're giving him material to make this type of content. At first, I said that. And I remember when he went on Mav Hoffa's podcast, My Expert Opinion, and Mecca was pissed at him. And he had a disdain for Trap Lord Ross in a way where Mecca is a cool, calm, and collected individual. That brother is cool, calm, and collected. He's very level-headed majority of the time. But I saw the way he was coming across the Trap Lord Ross. He had a very angry disposition with him. And I say, you know what? Let me see what's to this, right? Let me see what's to this. And over the last year, I've ran across his content. Trap Lord Ross is a very weird individual. I'm going to say it. I know people are not going to like this, but it is what it is. It has to be said. He's not weird because, he's covering these situations, these street wars. It's the way in which he covers it. He has a fascination with black dudes in the hood unaliving each other. Like, and not like he's just covering it. No. It's very strange because he contradicts himself a lot. In one breath, when he talks about these drill rappers and he talks about individuals like King Von, that's from my hometown, Chicago, Illinois, and I'm still in Chicago to this very day, right? When he covers King Von, in one breath, when he gets it seems like he's infatuated with Von when he's giving these documentaries, and he's in awe of Von, right? And I get it. Some people are infatuated with like these crime stories and all of that, and these stories that you can see on A&E and certain channels like that. But the way he talks about it, in certain ways, he's glamorizing a lot of the street war. Not certain ways, he is 100%, right? But then he'll get in an interview when he's in the hot seat, and people are saying it looks like you have an infatuation with young black men unaliving each other in the hood, and he'll talk about how he's against it and how King Von was not a good person. Von was doing some foul stuff. He called Von, and I notoriously that video that he had calling King Von hip hop's first serial unaliver. Right? I can't say the K word, so I got to say unaliver. He talked about how it was what Von was doing was heinous. The street wars he was engaged in and stuff that he was alleged to have done to opposition and all of that, and him shooting at people and allegedly unaliving people. It was heinous and it was despicable. He'll say these type of things, right? And which it was. Like, I'm not in no way, shape, or form or fashion am I letting the drill rappers off of the hook for things that played out in the street, whether they were shooting at people, whether they unalive people, or whether they engaged in music or created music where they were dissing dead men. I don't agree with any of that, and I think it's foul. But Trapper Lord Ross will get in an interview and say it's foul, and he'll condemn King Von, but he also has a tattoo of King Von with skulls in the background representing the people that King Von allegedly unalived. So wait a minute. Okay, you make the documentary, you seem infatuated with Von's lifestyle, but then when you get put in the hot seat and they ask, hey, why does it seem like you're glamorizing this? And then you say, I'm against it. I think it's bad. I think it's wrong. But then you have a tattoo of King Von with skulls in the background representing the people he allegedly unalived. You see how it's very contradictory. He's contradicting himself. I'm sorry for stuttering, right? So it's very like, yo, what are you doing? And then I noticed this. When he talks about these drill rappers, in one breath, he'll seem like he's in awe of them, but then he'll say condescending things about them, right? He'll say slick remarks. And in so many words, like he might insinuate them being stupid and dumb. Now, again, I think a lot of the street stuff is silly and stupid. And some may say I'm contradicting myself with it. But Ross will say things like he'll create the content about them and then say off-putting things about them, like he's taking jabs at them as if he's their opposition in a way, like saying slick remarks that their opposition would probably say about them. That's what Trap Lord Ross would do. Trap Lord Ross, he'll have an infatuation with their lifestyle, and then in the same breath, he'll say some off-putting comments about them, like he's taking a jab at them. So it's like, what are you doing? Still, he'll take a jab at them as if he's like their opposition. It's like, no, like Ross, Trap Lord Ross. I hope I wasn't calling him Von. Like Trap Lord Ross, no, that's not you. Why are you, because the moment he'll take a jab at some of these individuals, and some of these individuals are deceased, and some of them are living, right? Or even if they're deceased, these people that are deceased, they have family members, friends, and cousins. And if they see Trap Lord Ross outside, he'll be like, hey, don't say anything to me. I'm just a journalist. Why are you getting mad at the journalist? They put this out here. No. He's not simply a journalist. Okay, I went to school for journalism. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree in communication based in journalism. Broadcast, print journalism, public relations, etc. That's what my degrees are in. Journalists don't make a mockery of people's deaths. And that is what Trap Lord Ross does. Trap Lord Ross treats these men unaliving each other, and again, is heinous and is foul. And I'm not letting these black men off the hook for unaliving other black men when they engage in street warfare. It's terrible, it's despicable, and I will always speak against it. I will always speak against gang violence as well, for sure. And I'm from a city where gang life is prominent. It's always been embedded in Chicago, so I will speak against it. But it's like, bro, like you'll talk crazy about these individuals, and you'll poke a little jabs at them at times while being infatuated with them. And then when they see you, and if some of these people see you, then you be like, I'm just a journalist. No, you're making a mockery of these deaths, as if it's an episode of Dragon Ball Z. To Trap Lord Ross, these black men unaliving each other in different neighborhoods across America is like an episode of Dragon Ball Z to him. And an episode of Dragon Ball Z in which he's able to monetize and get bread off of. He gets money off of this. Now, again, are the documentaries well researched and well put together? Yes. These documentaries he puts out on YouTube, yes, they are. And he does the editing and all of that, and he puts in the work to do that, yes. But something in my spirit, something feels terrible. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right with me that this young Harry Potter looking dude is out here in one breath. You getting money, you off of these documentaries, but you're glamorizing the lifestyle with your commentary for real. And when you listen to how he commentates, he doesn't speak about it like, oh my God, this is horrible, it's horrific. He's like, he has an infatuation with it. Then when they ask you about it, you say you're against it. But then you get tattoos of King Von with skulls all around it, representing the people he allegedly unalived. Like, what are you doing? You know, something is very off-putting to me about a white dude from London, from the UK. I don't know if he's from London, from the UK, talking about Black death and Black men unaliving each other as if it's an episode of Dragon Ball Z. And yes, it's off-putting, and it's very, because I know people are going to say, are you just as mad at the Black men for unaliving each other? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. As a young man from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago, Illinois, I lived all my life in the hoods of Chicago, right? As a young man and went to college and educated myself and enlightened myself and all of that, yes, I want my brothers to stop harming each other out here, to love on one another so we can come together as a community, as one big community, and help each other rise to a state of prominence. I want all of us to come together and be prosperous, and we can stop the bullshit in the street. Yes, so I am equally as mad at the young Black men who are unaliving each other in these street wars. Yes. But for him, it's like a game to him, you know? And I say that, just peep this. So Trap Lord Ross, he's covering, if y'all know Gilly the Kid, Gilly the King, goes by both of these things. Gilly from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with his cousin Wallow. Gilly's son, Cheese, had his life taken from him in Philadelphia. The young man who took Gilly's son's life was a guy that went by the name The Joker. Now, this is a kid that has basketball talent, was a school kid and all of that, but he was also engaged in street warfare. And he went by the name The Joker. He was rapping and stuff, and rapping street stuff, and he took Gilly's son's life. He took Cheese's life. When Trap Lord Ross is covering this situation about the Joker and Gilly's son, Trap Lord Ross dresses up like the Joker to do the video. He dresses up, when he talks about Gilly's son being unalive, he dresses up like a Joker to represent the man who unalived Gilly's son. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing, Trap Lord Ross? What are you doing? That's where it's like, oh, this is blatantly a mockery. Because what game are you playing out here? It's silly. Like, what are you doing? Right? Same thing when he talks about Big U. Big U got locked up, facing all this stuff. The man gets on his video and wears a San Diego Chargers jersey. Big U's son plays for the LA Chargers. Now, it's not San Diego. Big U's son plays for the LA Chargers, right? He wears a LA Chargers jersey and he wears a Seattle Mariners cap. Now, anybody that's from LA and California, from what I understand, the Seattle Mariners cap is a cap that the 60s Crips, the 60s wear that hat. That's a hat that represents them. Trap Lord Ross puts on the Seattle Mariners cap with the Chargers jersey. It's like, are you antagonizing Big U with this? Are you trying to, like, what are you doing? It's very antagonistic. His approach to journalism is very antagonistic. Because, like, why the hell would you dress up as the Joker to represent the dude that unalived Gilly's son when you're talking about the situation? It just, and I know he was talking about the dude himself, but it just seems very, like, it's very off-putting and it's very disrespectful, it's denigrating, it's very distasteful. That's the adjective that I really want to associate with that content like that. You know? So I find myself thinking, what is it like? Yeah, you're not doing this to spread awareness. You find this very entertaining. It makes you a lot of money. And again, I will never sit on here and act like I don't want money off from YouTube. I do too. All of us that make content, well, majority, all of us are in it to make money, right? I want to be able to do YouTube content creation full time, to give commentary and speak to y'all on a regular basis and do this full time as my job without working a real job. I always am honest with y'all about that. But there's a certain integrity that I will have in making the content that I make, right? There's a certain thing that I won't make a mockery of people's death. I won't, like, you know, play games and like antagonistic games, you know, with people, and I'm not engaged in street warfare. It's like, what am I doing? I would never dress up as the Joker to talk about Gilly's son being unalived, and the dude that unalived Gilly's son, he went by the name of the Joker, so I'm going to dress up like the Joker on my video. Like, that stuff like that is like, you don't care. You don't have empathy in the stuff that you're doing, Traveler Ross. He's not empathetic to none of this. He doesn't care. These people are not from his community. They're not from his walk of life. These are not people in his everyday viewing. He don't got to see these people. He don't got to live amongst these. He don't have to live amongst these young black men. He don't got to interact with them for real. He only got to see them. Maybe he run into them when he do these little press runs. And these are not people in his everyday viewing. Like, so he doesn't care. He does not come from this type of environment. To him, he's talking about this shit recklessly and yeah, in a mocking, like he's in a way where he's mocking these deaths. How can you in one breath say King Von lived a heinous lifestyle, but you got a tattoo of Von with skulls around it in the background, and skulls in the background of the image of King Von to represent the bodies he has, and just watch how he talks about the bodies that people have with a certain amount of glee. It's weird. It's very, very weird. And so now I understood exactly why Mecca, from my expert opinion, with Math Hoffa Show, why he was so mad at Trap Lord Ross. When I started diving into the type of commentary that he does, the things, the content that he makes, it made perfect sense why Mecca was pissed off. You'll cover this stuff, these crimes. You'll cover these street wars, and you'll do it with no empathy at all. And I'm not even talking about empathy for the dudes who doing it, the dudes who are losing their life. And because some of them, some people are like, oh, some of these dudes deserve it. They both be out here wilding. But it's just a certain way that he does it. He'll cover these deaths like it's an episode of Dragon Ball Z, but then he'll antagonize these people as he'll throw jabs in as if you're not their opposition. Why are you throwing little jabs in that their opposition would say? Oh, this person, he ain't really like that. He ain't got no bodies. He ain't really like that. He has no bodies in the streets. He has no bodies out here. He has no bodies out here. Like, what the fuck? I thought you were against this type of behavior. But then you're downplaying a person for not having no bodies. He ain't tough as he ain't got no body. Like, what? Ross, you live in the UK. I don't know, man. I guess I feel a way because I'm against I'm against the street wars that happen in my city of Chicago. But because these are people, like, I grew up amongst a lot of these people, right? I used to I lived in a lot of these neighborhoods where a lot of this stuff be going down at. I went to school with some of these individuals, and yeah, I don't have personal relationships with these real rappers at all, but it's like, this is my community. And so when I see a person, you can cover it. I have no problem with him covering the news at all. But when you're doing it with no empathy, when you're acting like these deaths is not shit to you, but it's just entertainment, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's like, yo. And I would have the same anger and aggression with people who are taking each other's lives. I've spoken out against gang violence on my channel several times in several videos. And again, Chicago has been operating, gang culture has been all through Chicago since forever, right? But I'm a man who never joined a gang, even though I had family members around me that got gang affiliations, uncles, etc. But I've always spoken against it, And I always spoke to my little cousins that they didn't have to do that. That you can still be cool and go to school and the girls like you and all of that. You be a cool dude. Just be cool, fly, be on your books, and still be a cool dude. I always preach that, but it's something about it with him in a way it's like he's making a mockery of these deaths. And these are people like, this is the communities in which I've lived, Some of these people who have died are relatives of some of my friends. So yeah, I'm going to condemn the gang members for doing it. And I'm going to tell them that it's wrong for them to do that. It's terrible the way that they living and stuff that they in the songs talking about dead people. I'm gonna call them out as well, but I'm also gonna call out Trap Lord Ross for talking about this like it's one big game to him, dressing up as like these characters, like like you dressing up as the Joker to represent the dude that unalive Gilly's son, like it's a game or it's like to me that type of stuff is just like it's wild to me. It's very hypocritical when you talk and the way he talks about these the black men unaliving each other is not, he don't have just a journalistic type vibe about it. It's like he gets a hard on for this a little, like it feels like that, And then when I see him take these antagonistic jabs at these people at times, and when he does it when he's talking to other rappers, and when he's talking about the people that they're into it with, like he's talking about Lil Durk with 6ix9ine and them, he'll throw little jabs in at Durk, And it's like, bruh, you've made all this money off of him, but then you won't say that to him or when he's around. And you would throw little jabs in as if you're one of his opposition. Like, no, if 6ix9ine is into it with him, let him say that. It's just certain little jabs he was throwing, and it's not like he won't say F them, tell them suck. He won't say nothing really, really crazy. But if you read between the lines, I read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? He'll take jabs at them, and it's like, yo, he's talking slick about these dudes. Like, Trap Lord Ross is throwing slick shots at these rappers. When he gets around a rapper, and when a rapper starts talking about another rapper he has a problem with, Trap Lord Ross will engage in throwing slick shots at the person that he's talking about. And it kind of feel like he's doing it just to be chummy with the dude he's interviewing or the guy he's sitting across from. He'll throw little shots at Lil Durk or King Von in certain instances when he's sitting with Tekashi 6ix9ine. And I'm not saying I'm mad because they from Chicago. It's just like, bro, like, no, why are you inserting yourself in that? Because when you do that, again, if somebody approaches him outside, he'll be, I'm just a journalist. And it's like, no, journalists don't throw antagonistic shots like that. Like they almost kind of like you don't say stuff that would be antagonistic like you some of the opposition, and you wouldn't make a mockery of deaths like that. It's very weird to me the way he gives his commentary, and I'm not the only one who feels like that. Screwface John talked about it as well. Like, he left a comment too under that video where he dressed up like the Joker to represent the guy who unalived Gilly's son. He's like, yo, this is why people say you make a mockery of this. This is fun and games to you. And again, the way a lot of these dudes be living is foul and it's reckless. But it's like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, making a mockery of it is silly. Come on, that's not cool. So, yeah, man, I had to get this off of my chest because it's like it's a repeated cycle for him. And recently he got approached by Central C, a UK rapper as well, for certain little comments he was making about Central C as if he was Central C's opposition, saying little smart remarks about Central C. And Central C didn't say anything to him, but Central C's people approached Trap Lord Ross with that aggression, and it's just like, I don't know, man. A lot of this stuff is just weird to me, man. And this dude that looked like Harry Potter, white dude, looked like Harry Potter doing this shit is just very off-putting. And I just think it's clowned out. Some may not like my take on this, and that's fine. But I had to speak my piece, y'all. It's just weird and it's very denigrating and just clowned out to me. Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm out, y'all. Peace.